Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau finds himself in hot water once again, this time for attending a Taylor Swift concert while chaos erupted in Montreal. As the city burned amidst violent anti-Israel protests, Trudeau's presence at the Eras tour left Canadians questioning his priorities. Was this a case of poor optics or something far deeper? On a Friday night in Toronto, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was spotted enjoying one of Taylor Swift's final Eras tour concerts. Videos circulating online showed him singing along and mingling with fellow Swift fans, seemingly oblivious to the turmoil gripping Montreal. Just hours away, violent protests rocked the city's downtown streets, sparked by rising tensions over the Israel-Palestine conflict. Protesters set cars on fire, smashed storefront windows, and even burned an effigy of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Riot police scrambled to control the chaos, using tear gas to disperse the mob, but the destruction had already captured national and international attention. The protests coincided with a NATO summit in Montreal, where global delegates were gathering to discuss issues such as climate change and Ukraine. However, the summit was overshadowed by the unrest, which many attributed to recent pro-Palestinian demonstrations escalating into violence. Thursday had already seen heated confrontations at Concordia University between pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel demonstrators, further inflaming tensions. By Friday night, Montreal streets had descended into what Defense Minister Bill Blair called anarchy. Trudeau's absence from the crisis and his apparent lack of awareness sparked outrage. Quebec Senator Leo Housakos was among the most vocal critics, posting videos of the destruction alongside biting commentary. Tonight, while Justin Trudeau is partying it up in Toronto, I was meeting with several members of the Jewish community of Montreal, Housakos wrote. Hope you had fun at the concert, though, Justin. His remarks encapsulated a widespread sentiment that Trudeau was out of touch, prioritizing leisure over leadership during a moment of national crisis. The criticism only intensified after Trudeau condemned the violence the following day. Taking to social media, he labeled the events in Montreal as appalling and called for accountability, stating, acts of anti-Semitism, intimidation, and violence must be condemned wherever we see them. His comments, while firm, did little to quell the backlash, as many saw his delayed response as further proof of his detachment. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly and Defense Minister Bill Blair echoed Trudeau's condemnation but struck a more immediate tone. Both officials denounced the riots as a display of hatred and anti-Semitism that had no place in Canadian society. Blair, in particular, criticized the protesters, calling the demonstration nothing like lawful, peaceful protests and instead labeling it an act of mob violence. Adding to the controversy was Trudeau's stance on the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. In the unlikely event Netanyahu visits Canada, Trudeau indicated that the country would abide by the ICC's ruling, a position that angered Israel's ambassador and many in the Jewish community. Critics have argued that Trudeau's pledge emboldened anti-Israel sentiment, contributing to the volatile atmosphere in Montreal. Justin Trudeau's decision to attend a Taylor Swift concert while Montreal burned has reignited questions about his leadership and priorities. In moments of crisis, a nation looks to its leader for direction and solidarity. Whether this incident reflects poor judgment or something more systemic, it serves as a stark reminder of how quickly public trust can erode. As Canadians grapple with these events, one thing is clear: the disconnect between leadership and public expectation has never been more glaring.